How do you measure the development of a certain country? Well, there are many factors for sure. And how many big projects a country is working on is definitely one of them. This is why you will see countries are always working on new projects to create a better environment for the residents. But it's not a sure shot that the project will be successful. Take Malaysia's Forest City as an example. Oh, aren't you familiar with it? Well, don't worry, you'll be by the end of this video, so buckle up. The Forest City development is in the Johor Bahru, Malaysia, just north of Singapore. Forest City is huge. It spreads across 1,740 hectares, or 4 times the size of the city-state of Monaco. Around 700,000 people were initially expected to live in the estate. It consists of residential buildings rising from the ground on an artificial island in the Strait of Johor, between Malaysia and Singapore. 2/3 of the project is owned by its master developer, Guangdong-based property company, Country Garden Holdings, while the rest is held by a local firm controlled by Sultan Ibrahim Ismail, the ruler of Johor. The Chinese developers, being the majority shareholder of this project, hope to mainly attract wealthy Chinese who wanted to settle in Malaysia, and Singaporeans as well. Forest City was announced in 2006 as a 20-year project, and on top of everything, it had a hefty budget of over $100 billion. Let's look at some of the amenities first. The developers have developed linked Forest City with Singapore through the Second Link Bridge, shortening the distance between the cities to just 20 minutes. Forest City will also have its own custom facility, enabling residents to move freely to Singapore and back. The design is advertised to incorporate many green innovations. Forest City will feature buildings with green rooftops and vertical gardens, providing a jungle experience. City streets will have multiple layer design with a lower layer for traffic and parking spaces, while the upper layer will feature parks, sports facilities, and transport hubs. The city will be powered exclusively with renewable energy. Looking at all the facilities, the Forest City is definitely an attractive place. However, this extremely ambitious undertaking is not without its challenges. Already, a plethora of political and economic barriers are impeding its development. As said before, the project is being funded mainly through China, and Chinese residents virtually had a free pass to the city in the first few years of its construction. As a consequence, wealthy Chinese investors who couldn't afford the soaring prices of apartments in their own country rushed to Forest City. 80% of the property owners were Chinese as of 2019. The few new schools that were opened in the neighborhood were offering Mandarin classes, and even the street signs were in Mandarin. Due to the fact that the property prices are primarily considered for the Chinese marketplaces, native Malaysians simply cannot afford to purchase these apartments. An uproar was generated by the flood of Chinese investors when opponents of the project saw a new type of colonialism. As a result, foreigners were prohibited from holding property in the Forest City after a change in leadership was implemented by Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad. This led to a large evacuation of foreigners from the city and discouraged potential new investors. The epidemic and the global travel prohibitions were the next significant setback. Due to Malaysia's migration control order, no new investors may settle there. Due to the uncertainty, many previous investors withdrew from the project. Less than 500 individuals were really residing in the residential developments by the beginning of 2020, despite the fact that they have the potential to house more than 700,000 people. Most of the residents are the developers' employees, international school students, and family members. Since the commencement of the coronavirus pandemic, the project has remained in flux, with some salespeople asserting that fewer than 10 homes have been sold at Forest City. Additionally, Country Garden fired almost 1,000 of its Malaysian employees in the previous year, a reflection of the project's dramatic decline in fortunes. This is why back in August, BBC News referred to this place as a ghost town. But the developers are still optimistic. They expect Forest City to flourish again as economic activities resume and travel bans are lifted. What do you think? The comment section's all yours. I'll see you another time in another video. Stay in the loop.